going on, everyone? It's Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B, and welcome back to another episode of the Rugged Edge Survival Guide, a Premio podcast. It's good to be back in the host chair. We are continuing our limited run webinar series here on Premio's product suite and the larger evolutions that are shaping the edge continuum, right? As we see edge computers and their use cases mature and connect more directly. So again, on this limited series kind of run for the podcast, we are exploring the evolution of the edge computing continuum, because as edge computing matures as a sector and as its use cases become more established in their respective Industry 4.0 industries, right? So too are the products themselves maturing as they power different use cases in specific user edges. So with each conversation on this limited run here, we're going to dive into Premio's product suite and how each of its product lines aligns with specific trends that are shaping the edge computing market, as well as the various user edges that are maturing in the market today. So if you missed our previous episodes, we've done a conversation already on the BCO series and the JCO series, as well as a primer on this whole concept of the edge continuum and the evolving and maturing user edges, right? I recommend you go check those out to get fully caught up. But if you're here to just learn about panel PCs, then you are in the right spot. So welcome, everyone, and let's get started. Like I said, today we're going to be breaking down Premio's panel PCs and its larger panel PC series, which includes the VIO, SIO, AIO, and HIO series of panel PCs. We're going to break down how they're connecting with these larger trends in edge computing and how they're powering the industrial edge. So today we're going to be chatting with, of the product marketing team at Premio, Mr. Youssef Atlam. Youssef, great to have you on the podcast here today. How you doing?
Hello, Daniel. Nice
Yeah,
to meet
man,
you.
great to have you here, and looking
Good.
forward to learning from you today and your product line here, and more importantly, getting practical with how these panel PCs are complementing these maturing use cases for edge computers in a lot of, really nascent as well as already established industrial applications. So let's dive in, man. I want to start first with just recapping the big trend here in case we've got audience members that are only tapping into today's episode. Can you recap that larger trend of user edge maturation in edge computing, right? What are some of those high-level trends that are pushing edge computers to align closer with more specific use cases, and kind of how are you seeing that maturity play out in practice?
So within the trend right now, what you're seeing is everything's obviously getting pushed to the edge, as we've been talking about, but it's all based around, obviously AI, machine learning integration, and most importantly is industry specific requirements. And that's based on, what's the environment that solution it's going to be in. Is it going to be on the factory floor? Is it going to be outdoor, indoor? Does it need, a specific rating? Does it need a specific certification? Obviously fanless, so on and so forth. So all of that is adding on the requirements that it's supposed to have in terms of, where is it going to be in the spectrum? It's going to be on the industrial edge, on the rugged edge, or is it something that's, specialized and just, specifically made for that application?
So let's fit panel PCs into that larger evolution, right? What are, I guess, the main goals of Premio's panel PC series and product lineup, right, compared to some of the other edge computers that you have, in your product suite? And how are you seeing the panel PCs at large fit into some of those evolutions across the edge continuum and in industrial, rugged, and specialized edge applications?
So in terms of panel PCs from our portfolio, the biggest difference is obviously, HMI, human machine interface. It's allowing the user to actually have a touch interface while still having a fully functioning PC that still follows the same exact protocol in terms of definition with the rest of our portfolio. So, in terms of performance, in terms of, how rugged it is, in terms of specialized use cases, what it's made of, fanless, so on and so forth.
And I guess expand on that mix of computing needs in Industry 4.0 today, right? Because obviously edge computers are key. They're going to power a lot of the core Industry 4.0 processes that are taking industrial automation, automated vehicles, and data processing at the edge to that next level. But that's not the only type of computer in the computing ecosystem that powers Industry 4.0, as seen here with panel PCs, right? That interactive sort of human and automation touch point. So expand a little bit on just that larger ecosystem, right? And how Premio is getting a sense of the evolutions in those fields and why, capable panel PCs are just as important as the edge computers.
So Premio is kind of sensing the fact that every application, it's going to need its own use cases, in terms of if you need like a Jetson accelerator with what Liu Yang was talking about, or if you're going to need just a regular x86 high performance PC, which we'll talk about later, or if you need a small compact solution, which what Colin talked about. From the panel PC side, it's completely different. You're talking about something that's going to be allowing the user to have a touch interface, user, while still allowing Industry 4.0, connectivity. So in terms of, the panel PC, it's still going to have 5G connectivity, wireless connectivity. It's still going to have wired connectivity, obviously. So it still follows the same path in terms of, what the market trend is right now, just adding that human machine interface add-on.
So let's then place Premio's panel PCs on the edge continuum matrix, right? We've been using this visualizer to sort of place each edge computer and panel PC in relation to industrial and rugged and specialized edge applications. So let's go ahead and visualize that for us a little bit and break down, at a high level, why we see each panel PC land where it does.
So from the outside spectrum, if we look at our edge spectrum right now, as you can see, in terms of on the industrial side, you're going to see our AIO and HIO series. AIO is our all-in-one simple industrial panel PC solution that's, it gets the job done. It's very, very, it simply allows for HMI, for an HMI solution. So it's made for, POS systems, retailers, kiosk machines, and so on and so forth. HIO series follows the same exact path, but it adds on, it's literally the same exact design, but it just adds on that open frame mounting option. So this way, users can actually integrate it into their own machines and into their own projects, and then pushing it into more OEM integration use cases. If we then look down the line in terms of our rugged edge, you're going to see our VIO series. This is where you're going to get, a little bit more compute performance. You're going to get some more high-end features, such as, a removable drive from the side, where the user can simply just remove the drive without having to dismount the panel and then put it back up again. You're going to have, more IO connectivity for machine-to-machine communication, and so on and so forth. And then all the way down, and this is where the SIO kind of lands, where it's the most rugged, but it's right between the rugged edge and the specialized edge. And the reason because it's a stainless steel wash-down panel PC. You have a very, very high rating of IP66, 69K. So, it's specifically made for hygienic wash-down environments. So any hygienic applications, or, one of our case studies is a dairy manufacturer that used the SIO series, where they had to wash down their factory every single day with not only water, but high temperature water and high pressurized water. And this is where the SIO series, it's specialized for that target application, but it's still on the rugged edge in terms of, it doesn't necessarily just have to be a wash down room. It can survive anything else.
Thanks for the high level there, Youssef. All right, let's start digging into the specific panel PCs now, right? So what we're going to do now is break down each panel PC product and series to better understand how it fits into these specific user edges. So we'll get some specification breakdowns, as well as connect the dots between each panel PC and the use cases where they're going to shine best, and also how they are anticipating coming use cases that are going to define those industrial settings. So let's start with the VIO series, right? This is a modular panel PC. It's built with advanced expansion and performance in mind, environmental resilience, as well as, again, modularity and scalability. So could you break down the specifications here that make the VIO modular panel PC series unique, and how to think about it practically in terms of some of the major trends shaping these user edges?
Yeah, of course. So our VIO series, it's our high performing panel PC. It's our high end panel PC. It's where you get all of the really good features that you want from an HMI solution, yet it's still rugged. It's still, it can still withstand the factory floor. So when I say it can still withstand a factory floor, we're going to start off with the first being first. It's fanless, IP65 rated. You have an optical bonding add-on that if you want to add it, where optical bonding, it's adding an adhesive layer between the screen and the LCD. So this adds another barrier of protection between for the screen for the factory floor. Again, as I mentioned, you have a very wide operating temperature, obviously IP65 rated front panel. So all of that really pushes the VIO series to the rugged edge to our rugged edge line. Now, in terms of why it's actually special and its biggest niche is, as you mentioned, its modular design. The VIO series as itself, the screen itself is the VIO series. But then when you look at the back, it's attached to a module. So it's module from the back, and you have two options. You can either have the PC module or the MX module. And the PC module allows the VIO to be a fully functioning panel PC. But let's say a user down the line, they want another computer, or they want to hook up a machine vision computer, for example, to the panel, and instead of throwing away the panel and then having to get a new one, boom, they just take off the module from the back. They can then latch on the MX module, and then it's going to be a monitor instead of a panel PC. So it's very, very, its design is very, very, you know resilient in terms of its modularity. Now, in terms of its PC 100, we can even take a deeper dive into that. When I say high-end features, the reason why it has high-end features is because of its PC module. So its PC module is our latest PC 100 EHL. EHL being Elkhart Lake. So you're getting Intel Atom and Intel Celeron, SoC on board. You're going to have an optional PCIe expansion slot from the side where you can customize whatever you want. You have a removable SATA drive from the side, as I mentioned. So, let's imagine a user on the factory floor where they have to, swap out drives for testing purposes or for security purposes after a long day on the factory floor. They have to remove the factory drive because out of security purposes, they can't leave it there. Instead of having to dismount the panel and then put it back up again, they can just one click, take off the drive from the side. You have a universal bracket, again, from the side where the user can add on, two COM ports for even more machine-to-machine communication. You obviously have rich I/O. You have 6 COM ports, 4 USBs, 2 LAN ports. So you kind of get the bigger picture of, oh, I'm getting actually a lot of I/Os. I'm getting a lot of compute power all on a panel PC.
And obviously, these panel PCs are needing to stay at the forefront of the other tech trends that are shaping Industry 4.0, namely Edge AI, real-time processing, and Industry 4.0 adaptability. So I'm curious if you could break down for us how the VIO series is optimized for, supporting edge computers and interfacing with other, machinery and use cases where you might see Edge AI and real-time processing playing out in real time, right? As well as Industry 4.0 use cases.
So in terms of the VIO series, its biggest niche is its industry specific requirements, which is a huge sector for Edge AI. So different industries they require such as healthcare, manufacturing, transportation, so on and so forth. They need unique tailored computing solutions, and this is where the VIO stands out because you're still getting great processing power for real time processing demands, and it can still be on the factory floor. It can still be on the forefront, withstanding whatever environment that you need it to withstand, and you're still getting that high performance demand that you need to run edge AI.
What about some of the specific use cases, Youssef, where you see the VIO series really shine? Right? Are there any specific, let's say, industrial scalability applications, or even custom solutions for edge AI where you see the VIO, really stand out as a solution, or anything else that comes to mind?
So one of my favorite case studies for the VIO was we have one of our customers. He's an AI machine vision manufacturer where they manufacture machine vision solutions, and they needed a machine vision solution with HMI adaptability. They obviously now unfortunately the PC module on the back of the VIO, it's not that high in compute power where you can actually run machine vision applications on it, because from that you need a high end performing machine vision computer. So instead of but it was still on a factory floor, it was still in a very very rugged environment. So he needed that ruggedness from the VIO in terms of its IP65, its fanless design, but he still he just wanted the monitor solution. So that's why in one of our case studies, the challenge was the customer, they needed a machine vision computer, but they still wanted to connect it to the VIO. And that's why, because of its modular design, they use the MX module on the back of the VIO with our VCO machine vision computer, and boom, he was able to still have HMI interface while still running their machine vision application.
Pretty powerful stuff. So there we go, folks. The VIO series. Here's your breakdown. And at the end of our presentation here, we'll continue to point you in the right direction for further resources on all of these series. All right, Youssef, let's jump to the next one. Let's talk the SIO series. This is a wash-down touchscreen computer. It's got a fanless and hygienic design, obviously touchscreen technology, and built for some very specific, demanding environments and use cases, like in the food and beverage industry, right? So let's break it down. Could you give us the overview here on the SIO series and what makes it unique in comparison to some of your other panel PCs?
Yeah, of course. So the reason, if you look at our Edge AI matrix, the reason why the SIO series is, it's right between the rugged edge and the specialized edge is because, on the bigger picture, the SIO series it's very, very rugged. It's our ruggedest panel PC, but it's still mainly, it's made for specific applications where, you need, a wash down computer. You need a wash down panel PC. And most of these applications are hygienic applications, everything from, I didn't know this before I got, to learn the SIO series, but apparently food and beverage factories, it's mandatory for them to actually wash down their entire factory on a daily basis with high temperature water and high pressurized water. So if you need, an automation HMI solution that's going to be mounted on your factory line, and you can't take it off every single day right before, you clock out, this is where the SIO series comes in. All of the SIO series, well, not before I even get into that, it's made out of stainless steel, SUS 316 stainless steel, which SUS 316 stainless steel is, it's the most rugged stainless steel in terms of it doesn't, it has the best resilient for corrosion resistance. And then from there, you also have your IO connectivity. All of the IOs on the SIO series, they're M12 connectors, i.e. being that they can withstand water and they're lockable right into the SIO. And this way, when you wash it down, all those IOs, nothing's going to happen to them. You don't have to take off the IO and then put a cap to protect it. No, you can have all your connections still plugged in right there. In terms of, your CPU, you have Intel Core i5, and then you have Intel Celeron J1900. So offering users, hey, do you need just something for your efficient computing, or do you need something that you're going to actually need some demanding tasks, and so on and so forth. In terms of its screen, we offer different sizes, but its biggest niche is that we have optical bonding as standard, and no one has that as standard. In terms of your optical bonding, you're adding an adhesive layer between the screen and the actual LCD from the SIO. This way, it adds another resilient layer for another added layer of protection. And lastly, and why it's so niche for just for that for this application, which is washdown rooms, is your vent pressure. There's an automatic stainless steel vent pressure on the back of the SIO. So this way, if there's any any pressure change inside the actual solution, or even in the environment around the on the factory floor, if just high temperature, high pressurized water, then boom, the SIO, it automatically changes its internal temperature, pressure. Sorry, not temperature.
So give us a little more context on what edge computing looks like in these hygienic environments, right? What are those edge computers typically being deployed for? Right? What do some of those industrial applications look like today? And, where does that put the SIO series kind of in the line of fire, I guess you could say?
So in terms of edge applications, we have one of our use cases for the SIO series is, the world's number one international dairy manufacturer. They have an edge AI application that they need to run on their HMI on an HMI solution, and they need to run that application on their factory floor. This, again, as I mentioned, it's going to be washed down every single day. So this is where the SIO series comes in, where it's resistance to very, very harsh environments, to with its touchscreen interface, obviously, and its all-in-one design, allowed the dairy manufacturer to actually use the SIO series in their edge application.
Another key hygienic environment where we see, this series really stand out is in the pharmaceutical industry, right? Can you give us an example of how you're seeing the SIO series really shine again in the pharmaceutical industry, in use for pharmaceutical production, and what are some of the specific features again that make it ideal for that environment?
Yeah, so in pharmaceutical applications, you have the same goes in terms of not just pharmaceutical, but even healthcare facilities where their environment has to be clean and has to be washed down daily with high temperature, high pressurized water. And this is where the SIO series comes in, thanks to its IP66 and 69K rating. It's gonna be able to withstand those daily washes.
All right, next up is the AIO series. This is your all-in-one touchscreen computer. And, there's a lot of use cases where, yes, there are some great solutions out there with a lot of bells and whistles to interface with, really complex and unique industrial edge applications. But there's also some of the use cases where you don't need that level of complexity. And really what you need is a simple, reliable touchscreen computer. That's where the AIO series really stands out. So go ahead and break that down for us. What are some of the unique specs of the AIO? What makes it that kind of reliable, trusted, simple solution for touchscreen interface needs?
So for our new AIO series that just launched, as you can see, it lands on the industrial edge spectrum. This is where where users where they just need a simple HMI HMI application solution. This is where the AIO answers their question. Where you have a lot of application cases for like POS systems, kiosk, retail, just applications where they don't really need that much demanding computer need, yet they still need to be on their industry 4.0 connectivity. So that's why the AIO has the 5G option with our dash 3L model. You still have two LAN ports, you still have three LAN ports, you still have COM ports on the side for machine to machine communication. You have different mounting options. So this is where the SIO is very, very versatile in terms of it answers your question for a lot of HMI questions where I just need an HMI solution and I need it to connect to this to run this application. This is where the AIO answered that question. And with its CPU, with its Alder Lake CPU and 97, then you have very, very efficient computing power where still gonna have a very, very wide operating temperature, but it's still gonna run your demanding tasks. And in terms of where it can be located in different application use cases, the AIO, it's military standard chalk and vibration, it's UL listed, and it's IP65 front panel. So it can still withstand industrial factory floors. It can still withstand rugged environments, but it's just built for a simple, simple answer to your HMI solution compared to our VIO series where you get like a lot more high end features. This just keeps it, all in one.
Let's talk about some of the processing power, right? Even if it is sort of an all-in-one, straightforward, simple solution, it still comes with 12th gen Intel Alder Lake processors, DDR5 memory, right? So break down how y'all sort of chose the needed specifications for an all-in-one, and how do the specs make it a flexible, capable option, even if it is, more straightforward, maybe in terms of capabilities compared to some of the other panel PCs.
So in terms of our processing power, we were the Alder Lake CPU. It stood out because with the N97, you have the perfect balance between power efficiency and performance, where the user can still run some pretty demanding tasks, yet your temperature, you're still gonna have low TDP, you're still gonna have low thermodynamic power. So your temperature is not going to explode through the roof. It's not going to take too much power from the panel PC. It's still going to be efficient. And then with DDR5 memory, that just goes without saying. You're getting a lot more bandwidth in terms of memory, so the user can still run their softwares.
Obviously, to be an all-in-one solution, it needs to be a bit of a black box solution in the sense that it can be tweaked or sort of adjusted to specific environments. I know this is a bit of a simple one, but even just display versatility is so key. Industrial settings all look different and have different environmental factors, lighting factors that all impact things like display versatility. So could you break down the range of display sizes, brightness, all the different options that help create some modular wins for a more or less black box style solution?
So in terms of display sizes with the AIO, it comes with 10.1 inch, 15.6 inch, and 21.5 inch. And we have these three screen sizes because we like to keep it very simple. Those are the screen sizes that you're going to need in terms of your touchscreen configuration. Obviously, 10-point PCAP, allowing the user to use all of their 10 fingers if they need to on the display. In terms of your viewing angle, you have 89, 89, 89, and then 85 for the 15.6 inch. The brightness goes all the way up to 500 nits. You still have 7H glass, so it's not gonna get scratched. It still has that ruggedness in terms of that's built from its inside. I mean, from the outside. But in terms of your mounting options, this is where it's also still versatile. From the back of the AIO, you still have mounting holes for Visa mount. So this way, if a user just wants to put it on a stand, they can still allowed to do that. You're still allowed to do that. But then if they want to actually put it up, and flush it into a wall, you still have panel mounting with M3 holes on the side.
And I'm guessing that also, once you translate that into practical use cases, gives a lot of flexibility in terms of user experience optimization to match, the AIO to the environment where it's in, right? To optimize it to the space and needed efficiencies for said use cases. Do you mind breaking down for us just what that looks like in practice, right? How you see the AIO series really staying adaptive in terms of its UX?
Yeah, of course. So even though the AIO it just came out, we still, there's still a lot of use cases that you can see the AIO series fitting in. And just to take a step back, the AIO is split up into two models, and we have the 2 LAN version, and that's without 5G connectivity, and then you have the 3 LAN version, and that's with 5G connectivity. And the reason from that is, if let's say, for example, a user just needs to run their POS system and it just doesn't need, it just needs a simple, efficient solution. It just, it's a point of sale HMI solution. Then they're going to go the 2 LAN version. They don't really need that connectivity need of Industry 4.0, and this is where it's going to land. But let's say if a user needs the AIO series for on the factory floor, and it needs to be connected to two other devices via LAN, and it still needs to have backup 5G connectivity, then this is where the model that they're going to go with, and it's still going to allow them to use the AIO, and it's still going to be able to be used on the factory floor because again, it's military standard, shock and vibration, front panel IP65, and it is UL listed.
So yeah, go ahead and break down some of those user-facing use cases for us then, and uh, how you really see the AIO step up in terms of its all-in-one but still modular capabilities for some of those use cases.
So yeah, as you mentioned, the AIO series, no, it could be, the solution can be fit into various applications, all for Industry 4.0, and especially the Dash 3L model. Once you have that extra LAN port and having three in total, and then having 5G connectivity, it really pushes the AIO where it's going to be able to process data in real time, and it's going to be again, it's going to check those boxes for industry specific requirements. So again, pushing it out to the edge.
All right, Youssef, time to hit on the last product line here. We're talking the HIO series. So again, we've touched on the VIO, SIO, and AIO. When we look at the HIO series, we are looking at a run of open frame touchscreen computers. This is unique, right? We have an open frame design, more IO customization and expansion, rugged durability and compliance, and again, designed for some specific use cases. So go ahead and place that HIO series open frame touchscreen on the matrix for us, and give us some breakdowns here of the specs that make it unique and what it's designed for.
So for the HIO series, it's our brand new panel PC that came out with our AIO series, and they both have the same skeleton. They both have the same structure in terms of you still get Intel Alder Lake N97, you still get two M.2 keys, you still get DDR5 memory, you still have the same storage, you get two LAN ports, same similar IOs, except instead of having Visa and panel mounting, you have an open frame design, so you can actually open frame mount the HIO series. And this is where users, they can start implementing the HIO into their into OEM projects. So it can be tailored for any specific operational requirements. And then thanks to its open frame design, you can then start pulling out even more IOs from the back.
Talk to me a little bit about the customization here, right? A lot of the other IO series that we've been breaking down here have their own level of modular capabilities and flexibility in terms of their IO ports, right? But what is unique about some of the customizable IO connectivity that the HIO series offers, and how does that help cater it to diverse industrial needs?
So for the HIO series, you could, thanks to its open frame design, the back panel is not there. So you can actually pull, via internal header cables straight from the motherboard. You can still pull 6 USB 2.0 cables, and we'll provide the kit. You can still have two COM ports from the internal headers. You can still add on, two PIF antennas for better connectivity in terms of Wi-Fi. So again, you kind of get the picture that, oh, I have the back completely, the back's completely accessible. So you can, even swap out your storage from the back because, it's accessible from the back. So the reason where this starts getting interesting is that, in use cases such as, kiosk machines, where they need to implement the HIO series and flush it into their machines, they can then start pulling all of these IOs straight from the back. And those IOs can, they can run to, whatever other machine that they need to connect it to.
And if you had to connect the dots with some specific applications, right, how do you see the HIO series designed to withstand some of the challenges of the more remote and rugged edge environments, right? And how does its customization capability help align it to more tailored edge solutions for very specific industries?
So its flexibility and its adhesive to actually be implemented into OEM projects obviously all ties back to its open frame design. However, it still has a rugged features. It has all the rugged features because that's what Premio is built around. So you still get front panel IP65. You still have 7H toughness class on your display. So you can still implement it in, in specific edge use cases that, require specific needs. But you still, just in terms of mounting options, now you have open frame mounting.
And now let's look at a specific use case, right? Or case study here. I know that we see the HIO's open frame design benefit OEM integration in industrial systems, for example, right? As well as offer some useful solutions for remote monitoring and control. Could you give us some examples here of how you've seen the HIO series play out in action? And how that really speaks to what kind of a powerhouse it is.
So where the HIO series is going to start landing in terms of application use cases, you know, thanks to the Intel N97, you can still have efficient performance, but it can still withstand high performing and demanding tasks. So you can have, efficient use cases such as, kiosk, self-service machines, digital signage, POS systems, even, and so on and so forth. In terms of, if they need to implement, the panel in whatever application that they're using. However, on the other side, you can still then start implementing the AIO in industrial automation. There's a lot of automation floors and factories where they actually implement the actual panel into the machinery itself. And this is where the HIO is going to come in, where the front panel is IP65 7H class. You have open frame mounting. You can just flush it into your machinery right away, and then you can have HMI integration.
All right, last but not least, let's just go ahead and place the HIO then on the matrix and just put it back into that context of this evolving edge continuum, and just do another quick recap here of the whole matrix in and of itself, just to, again, get a sense for how we should be making sense of the HIO, AIO, SIO, and VIO series in relation to these evolving user edges.
Yeah, of course. So, if you look all the way to the left, you're going to see the AIO and HIO series right next to each other, since they both have the same performance with N97, Intel N97 and DDR5 memory, and they both land on industrial edge. If you look down the line a little bit more, then you're going to see the VIO series a little bit up top because it has more performance. It's a little bit more rugged. You still have high-end features that we mentioned before with the removable drive and so on and so forth. And then all the way down, you're going to see the SIO series right in the middle between rugged edge and specialized edge, where it's going to meet your that specialization of hygienic washdowns and all of that necessary needs. And then it's still very, very ruggedized. So if a user just needs a very, very rugged HMI panel for a very, very rugged environment that doesn't necessarily has to be a washdown room, then this is where the SIO series is also going to answer the question.
All right, Youssef, I feel like that just about covers it. We've broken down the full IO series, whether that's V, S, A, or HIO, and we've got a better sense for the panel PC's placement and role in the evolving edge continuum. So, Youssef, if folks want to learn more about Premio's panel PCs, they want to visualize it for themselves, get into the specifics, and choose the one that's right for them, where should we point them, and how can they learn more?
Oh, I can point them to a lot of places. So they can visit our website. They can go to our solutions page. They can find industrial touch panel PCs. They can go straight to that page. It features all four of our products and the differences between them. We just put out a blog, I think a couple of weeks ago, how to choose the best industrial panel PC. And the answer to that question isn't just, oh, this one's the best one. It's based upon your application needs, and it gives you how to choose the best one based on performance, mounting, and all of your options. And then all of our fans, they can go check it out there.
Perfect, Youssef. Easy enough. Thank you so much for your time again today on the Rugged Edge Survival Guide. Again, folks, we've been chatting with Youssef Atlam. He's part of the product marketing team with Premio, and I'm looking forward to seeing these panel PCs in action and seeing what else is on the horizon for Premio. So, Youssef, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning into another episode of the Rugged Edge Survival Guide. If you like what you heard and saw here and you want to tap into previous episodes of the show, or you want to check out some of our other limited webinar series here from this product exploration series, whether that's the BCO or the JCO series or an intro into these trends that are shaping the edge computing ecosystem, you can find all that and more on premioinc.com. Again, Premio Inc., premioinc.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you don't miss out on future episodes of the show. And we're looking forward to seeing your eyes and ears here with us as we continue to explore Premio's product suite. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm your host, Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B, and stay tuned for more from the Rugged Edge Survival Guide.